Here we go, gonna do 10.3, number 47. It gives you an equation like this. It is not in a form where we can quickly go to the graph. What I mean by that is if you look at numbers 43 and 44, right above this one in your book, you'll see that we can quickly get to the graph from that. So I kind of like build the up, down, left, right, center, all that stuff based on that. So if you look at this one, I'm going to complete the square the same way we did with the parabolas. So the first thing I'm going to do is give myself some space to do that. X squared plus 4x. Now I'm going to leave a gap to complete the square for the x's. And then I get plus, what I'm going to do with the y's is pull it out so that I have a y squared without a coefficient. I pull that 4 out of there. What that's going to do is make it so that I can actually write something squared. For example, I want to have x minus 7 squared. That would tell me that the x coordinate of the center was 7. This does not have a number out front. If I don't take care of the 4 now, then that number is going to be stuck in there and I won't be able to do anything about it. So, back to the problem. I need to fill in now a number that will give me that 8y right there. It needs to be negative as well. So I need it to be a minus 2y, because when I multiply that by the 4, it gives me the negative 8y in red. I'm going to leave a gap to complete the square with, and I'm going to take the 4 right here and move it over to the right hand side of the equation, so I get a minus 4. Now, need to fill in 2 gaps, that gap and that gap. First red gap, is pretty easy to get. I take 4, I divide it by 2, and I square it, so I get a plus 4. Lots of 4's here. Now, I randomly brought 4 into the left-hand side of the equation. It's unbalanced. I need to go ahead and do the same thing to the right-hand side. So I add 4. Now, I need to complete the square on the y's for this little red spot right here. Divide by 2 square, I get plus 1. Now, here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to just add 1. The reason why I don't want to just add 1 is because this 1 right here is being multiplied by 4. So by inserting the 1 here, I'm not really adding 1, I'm adding 4 times, because there's parenthesis 1. So I need to add 4, not 1 to both sides. It's an easy mistake to make. So from here, I am going to factor on the left side so that it looks like numbers 43 and 44. And on the right side, I'm going to collect my like terms. So I get, when I factor this whole part right here, I get x plus 2 squared. When I factor this whole part right here, I leave the 4 out front, and then I get y minus 1 squared. And when I collect all of these guys, those guys zero out, and I get plus 4 like that. Now, notice numbers 43 and 44, it has a 1 on the right-hand side. I have a 4. So to get to that 1, I divide by 4. These cancel out. These give me 1. The other one stays the same. So I'll write down here, this gives me at the end x plus 2 squared over 4 plus y minus 1 squared over, well, I'm just going to leave it like that for now, is equal to 1. Scroll down some more so I don't have to worry about that. Alright, so last thing I'm going to do is graph it. I'm going to do this relatively quickly compared to how I went through the rest of the video, because you should know how to do this from before. My center is at negative 2, 1. So I go back 2, up 1, and I'm going to put a dot. That represents where the center is. Remember, I only have to list coordinates if I'm not doing this tick thing, or if like I have like a 5.5 or something like that. So, my left-right comes from this number. Take the square root, that's 2. So I'm going to go left 2 from the center, 1, 2, put a dot, and then go right 2, which brings me back to the axis. go back to now I'm going to look at the up-down. This is really over 1. Anything over 1 is itself. So I take the square root of 1, and my up-down is equal to 1. So I go up 1, I'm going to put another tick, that's too high, and then down 1 like this, sketch in my ellipse. I'm not quite done yet. What I need to do now, hopefully your graph isn't as messy as mine. I am drawing on a computer. You, I don't think, are. Now I need to find my foci. Remember, for this case, A is 2 and B is 1. A is the major axis, or sorry, the half the length of the major axis. B is half the length of the minor axis. So my 1, my 2. Remember, looks like Pythag. C squared equal to A squared minus B squared. So that gives me C squared equals, well, 4 minus 1, which gives me C is root 3. So root 3 is between 1 and 2, so I'm going to go like that and put an F. I'm going to go like that and put an F. Now I need to identify, since they're not on crisscrosses like the other 4 were, I need to identify where they are, so I'm going to say focus at, I start at -2, and then I go left and right by root 3. So I'm going to write -2 plus, which means the kind of right side, minus, which means the left, root 3. Get rid of this stuff so I have space. Comma, what's the height for both of them? It's 1. And that's all. Hopefully that helps, especially those of you who were out field trip.